And I want you to say, what? Use him, Lord. Could you do that tonight? Look at the handsome Dr. Richards tonight. Dr. Professor Noel Richards. Good night to you. We love you. God bless you. Mwah, 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 Dr. Richards. We love you. God use you tonight in a mighty way. We wait to hear from what our Holy Spirit have to say. Father, thank you for Dr. Richards. Everybody say, use him, Lord. One more time. Use him, Lord. He looks nice tonight. I tell him you love him too. That's all right. You can tell him listen, that's your father, you know. You can tell him you love him. Don't worry about it. And you don't even have to say with the love of the Lord. Just tell him I love you. Full stop. Just like I tell you, I love you. I love you. Not with the love of the Lord. I just love you. Dr. Richards.
Thank you so much, First Lady. Good evening to you. Good evening to all the elders and ministers. Welcome back, Elder Gail. It's nice to have you back in Sweet TNT. And it's good that you're home now. So we welcome you back. And we welcome to that person, is it Nadine, who is here for the first time with us? Thank you for joining us tonight. And we just want to continue. Thank you, First Lady. And I love you as well. And I love all of you. You know, it's so good to be in a family where love flows. Love is what keeps us together. There's a song that says it's love that makes the world go round. Yeah, and I agree. Go round, not wrong, but round. So we want to continue this evening and what we were talking about. And what is interesting is that we are talking about leadership, and we are talking about the different attributes of leaders, and we're looking at leaders as an acronym, LEADERS, and we are on D, LEAD. And one of the things, the last thing we are looking at, or we are continuing to look at, is dedication. And to be dedicated means you are committed to something or someone. You're hooked on, you're stuck to it, you're there. And this is basically what First Lady was talking about. You know, it's about dedication. When you have to do something, maybe for the first time, the only way that you will get it right is if you are dedicated to do it. So you do it over and over. Of course, when you do it over and over, you're disciplining yourself, you're training yourself. And if you're determined enough, you say, nothing's going to stop me. But the only way it's going to happen is if you are dedicated to doing it. So you're dedicated to driving, you drive all the time, you're always driving, you're always there. If you are dedicated if you want to learn to speak publicly, you have to be dedicated to it. You have to be there. You have to be speaking publicly all the time. You have to be practicing. So we're actually talking about dedication. And as we continue to talk about dedication, we were looking at John chapter 15, verses 1 to 17. I think Joshua was reading it the last time. Joshua, do you have it? John chapter 15, verses 1 to 17. And Jesus was talking about being the vine, and we are the branches, he says. He says, abide in me, or remain in me, or be dedicated to me. Be stuck to me. That's what he said. Don't uproot yourself. Don't pull away from me. Be dedicated. Be committed to me. If you do that, that's the only way you could be fruitful. Because, the branches cannot really bear fruit in themselves. They have to get the sustenance through the vine. So you have to be committed to the vine. That's what Jesus is saying. And I just want to read from verse 9, Joshua, from verse 9. John chapter 15 from verse 9, just read from there, please. Are you
As the Father,
there?
yes, I'm there.
Go ahead.
As the Father loved me, I also have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love.
All right, so stop there. So he said, as the Father loved me, I have loved you. Then he said, stay in my love. Be dedicated to me. That's what he's saying. And then he went on to explain how you do that. Read verse 10 again, Joshua.
If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love.
If you keep my commandments, it shows that you are dedicated to me. That's what he's saying. If you keep my commandments, in other words, if you do what I say to do. I say don't commit adultery, don't commit adultery. If I say go here, you go there, you go here. Whatever I tell you to do, as long as you're committed to that, you're dedicated to that, you really remain in my love. So read verse 11.
These things I have spoken to you, that my joy may remain in you, and that your joy may be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatever I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for a servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all things that I heard from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. These things I command to you, that you love one another.
That you love one. That's the command. That's how we are committed to him, if we love one another. Just that simple thing of loving one another shows that we are dedicated to the cause of Christ. But that's what he did. When he came, he said, love each other the way I love you. And I'm so thankful that in this ministry, we don't have to bully you into loving people. We don't have to push you into the love in this ministry flows so easily and so wonderfully that it encourages me. He said, this is my command, love one another. He said, when you do what my command, what you do what if you do what I command you to do, you are showing that you are committed to me, that you are dedicated to me. And I'll tell you something, when you are dedicated to God, he can trust you to bless you because you know you will use the blessing to bless others. In other words, if I want to bless Joshua, and what I can do is that I can bless, I don't like to use name, but let me just pull up on him, Brother Jack. And I know Joshua is connected to Brother Jack. And I want to bless Joshua. You hear what? I want to bless two people at the same time. So I bless Brother Jack because I know he knows Joshua has a need and he will bless Joshua. So in that way, two people are getting blessed. But if Brother Jack, when I bless him, he doesn't bless somebody else, he's not committed to me, and he's not committed to the person, the blessing stays with him. And the person that I want to bless would not get blessed because he kept the blessing all by himself. Remember, we keep saying, I'm blessed to be a blessing. So God has said, if you're committed to me, if you're dedicated to me, I can trust you to bless you because I know you're going to use that blessing to bless somebody else. But if you're not committed to me, if you're not dedicated to me, then I will not bless you because you, my purpose will not be fulfilled because you're not going to do what I want you to do. And that is why some people wonder why they don't have. Some people wonder why other people have and they don't. It's because when you get, you keep it for yourself. But if you allow God to use you as a channel, in other words, if you connect yourself with God, it's like a pipe. And the blessing can flow through you, but if there's no connection, then the blessing will get lost. So I'm saying dedication is important. Dedication, commitment, saying, God, I will do whatever you say. I will go wherever you want me to go. I'm not leaving you, God. I'm not going to serve another God. I am going to be in the house of the Lord. When there's ministry, kingdom study, and LiveRight Ministries, I'm going to be there. God, because I'm committed. That's the kind of believer he's looking for. And more so, that's the kind of leader God is looking for. One that he can trust, one that he can use as a channel, one that is dedicated to the cause, to his cause. Let's look at a short story that you know, and it talks about discipline, determination, and dedication. Let's look at it quickly. Daniel chapter 1. Who has that one to read? Let's read it quickly. Daniel chapter 1.
I'm reading that, Dr. Richard.
Go ahead.
In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem and besieged it.
Right. So we have Jehoiakim, he's the king of Judah, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and they're at war. And Nebuchadnezzar came and besieged it. I mean, he surrounded the city. Nobody could go in, nobody could go out, and they were there. They were fighting. Verse 2.
And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with some of the articles of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar to the house of his God. And he brought the articles into the treasure house of his God. Then the king instructed Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, to bring some of the children of Israel and some of the king's descendants and some of the nobles, young men in whom there was no blemish, but good-looking, gifted in all wisdom, possessing knowledge, and quick to understand, who had ability to serve in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the language and the literature of the Chaldeans.
All right, so this is what they used to do. Whenever there was war, in those particular times, they would capture the city, have them surrender, and then they would take the strongest, youngest young men who were brilliant, who were good looking, and they would bring them back and they would teach them their language, the language of the dominant kingdom. They would teach them so they would become part of the kingdom. So this is what is happening here.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's delicacies and of the wine which he drank, and 3 years of training them, so that at the end of that time they might serve before the king. Now, from among those of the sons of Judah were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. To them, the chief of the eunuchs gave names. He gave Daniel the name Belteshazzar, to Hananiah, Shadrach, to Mishael, Meshach, and to Azariah, Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's delicacies, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the chief of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into the favor and goodwill of the chief of the eunuchs. And the chief of the eunuchs said to Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who has appointed your food and drink. For why should he see your faces looking worse than the young men who are your age? Then you would endanger my head before the king. So Daniel said to the steward, whom the chief of the eunuchs had sent over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, please test your servants for 10 days, and let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then let our appearance be examined before you, and the appearance of the young men who eat the portions of the king's delicacies. And as you see fit, so deal with your servants. So he consented with them in this matter and tested them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their features appeared better and fatter in flesh than all the young men who eat the portion of the king's delicacies. Thus the steward took away their portion of delicacies and the wine that they were to drink and gave them vegetables. As for these 4 young men, God gave them knowledge and skill in all literature and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days, when the king had said that they should be brought in, the chief of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. The king interviewed them, and among them all, none was found like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they served before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding, about which the king examined them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers who were in all his realm.
Thank you. Now, this is a story. Of course, we know this story, so we're not going to delve deep into it. But I am suggesting to you today, the only way these young men could have done what they did, the only way these young men not only could have stood up and said, listen, we're not going to eat have the king's delicacies. We're not going to drink the wine. We're not going to eat the nice chicken and whatever it is. The only way they could have done that is if they possessed these three qualities: discipline, determination, and dedication. Discipline because they had trained themselves. They had trained themselves to understand the things of God and who their God was. That's why they could have stood up. These are the same three Hebrew boys who were in the fire. Determination because they were determined not to do it. They had purpose in their heart according to the scriptures. Purpose, they said, Daniel, purpose in his heart. That's what determination is, I will not do this thing. I'm purposing in my heart, I will not do this thing. It would have been easy because, they were being fed the best according to their times. But you see, sometimes when you have to stand for God, you have to give up what the world thinks is the best. We have a season coming up here. Well, not coming. We are in that season where everybody talking about pork and eating this and eating that. And we know in this ministry there are certain things we will not eat. But it's not going to come easy when you look around and you see people around you, especially in your own house, your own family, eating these things. You might be tempted, let me just take a slice. Let me just do this. But if you've trained yourself to do what is right, if you are determined not to do what is wrong, and if you are dedicated to the cause of God, I'm saying to you that there's nothing that the enemy could come and bring your way that you cannot refuse, that you cannot say, listen, I will not do this thing, just like these four young men. And look at what happened. They asked, they said, listen, give us 10 days. Let us have nothing but water. And these, water and salad. And you keep all the stuff that you're giving to the others. Go ahead and give it to them. And at the end of that, you know what it took for them to do that? Discipline, determination, and dedication. And at the end of the time, what happened? They were tested after 10 days. All they had was vegetables and water. And after 10 days, they were better. We have 3 days coming up where all you're going to have, you're not going to have vegetables, all you're going to have is water. And there might be people in your company. And when I say company, whether it's your home or your work, even in your own ministry, who will tell you 3 days with water only, you're crazy. But I tell you, if you are disciplined enough, if you are determined enough, and if you are dedicated, you don't give up, I promise you that after 3 days, you're going to be looking better. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be better than those who will be eating all sorts of things. Discipline, determination, and dedication. These are 3 things that are important for believers, and more so one who God has chosen to lead. You can't lead if you don't have discipline. You cannot lead if you're not determined. You can't lead if you're not dedicated. These are important things as believers. Make that a part of your life. And especially if you're called to lead, whether it's in the secular world or in the kingdom of God, make these things your friends. Make discipline, determination, and dedication your friends. Any questions before we move on? There's one more thing I want to share tonight before. Are we good? Are we cool? I keep hearing that that we're okay, and I'm trusting that we are okay. So let me move on quickly. We don't have much time. Another D that a leader must have, and this is important as well. A leader must be durable. D-U-R-A-B-L-E, durable. You cannot be a leader if you are not durable. What do I mean by durable? Well, something that is durable is strong, and it lasts a long time without breaking or becoming weaker. Be durable. A leader must be strong, not easily broken. A leader must be able to withstand pressure because you're leading. And you must be able to withstand pressure. As the saying goes, you must be able to take a licking and keep on ticking. You can't be a leader and can't face criticism. Once you're out there and you're out front, whatever you do, right or wrong, good or bad, you will be criticized. And if you cannot take that, if you crack easy under criticism, then you're not fit to lead. You have to be able to endure criticism, whether they're justified or not. And you can't be responding to every time somebody says something about you. That's not good leadership. They say that you talk too loud, you have to say, no, I don't talk loud. They say talk too soft, I do talk too soft. Everything. They are things that people will say about you that sometimes you wonder, how in the world they come up with that? But you still want to respond. A leader must be durable. He must be strong. He must not be thin-skinned. You know, one of the things they said about President-elect Trump is that he has thick skin. No matter what people say about him, it doesn't matter. They say all kind of things about him. Some might be true, some might not be true, but he don't respond to everything. And even when he does respond, it's not like, you know, you're getting to him. And that's one of the things that's said about him. Huh? I'm not saying that's what they say that is said about him. But that's what durability is. People can't shake you. They can't move you. You cannot be a leader that every time somebody says something, you're running on social media to respond to it. No. You got to be durable. You've got to show them that what they say, they can say what they want, it will not affect you as a leader. They call Jesus all kinds of things. They call him a wine bibber. They call him all sorts of things. And he didn't respond to these things. He came to do his as a leader. You have to focus on what you're supposed to do. You must not be easily shaken. A leader is like a hurricane shelter. You know when a hurricane comes in, they tell you, head to the nearest shelter. Usually it's a school or one of these community centers or something. You must be the place where people run to. That's leadership. A leader must be there for the people. And no matter what is coming, the storm could be a Category 5 hurricane. You are the shelter. It can't move you. You've got to be durable as a leader. And the thing is, you've got to understand as a leader that these things will come. You cannot be out there leading people and not expect somebody to find something wrong with what you did, or you didn't do it the right way, or they could have done it better than you, or who you think you are. That is expected as a leader. And as a leader, you must be able to ignore. You must be able to allow things to run off your back like water on a duck's back. That's what durability is. Strong. You're not easily breakable. You don't become weak. You don't start to cry. You don't start to worry, oh Lord, what they say about me. Leadership calls for durability. And if you're not durable, you can't lead. You think people haven't said things about myself and First Lady and even some of the elders? You think people haven't said anything? But we can't go crying because somebody thinks something. That's why we always tell you, if you have a question, please feel free. Reach out to us. If you don't want to ask it during the time of ministry, send us a question in the chat. We have only one chat you can put things in, or you have our number. You don't go about criticizing and talking, the leadership bad. But even as you do so, and we find out, we are not going to be, oh Lord, here, look what they're saying. I wonder if what they're saying is true. That's not leadership. And leadership is even if you've done something wrong, even if you made a mistake, you have to be able to get up and say, hey, listen, I slipped up. I said something the other day, and in hindsight, maybe the Holy Spirit brought it to your attention, to my attention, and I want to tell you I was wrong. That's to be durable. You got to be strong enough to say I was wrong. I made a mistake. I didn't do it the right way. I led it down the wrong path. That is strength. That is being durable. You don't give up. You don't quit. You don't say this is not for me. That's not a leader. A leader must be durable. You must be able to withstand pressure. You must be able to endure whatever life throws at him. That's leadership. You're going to end here tonight. And we're going to look at some scripture verses that talk about that tomorrow night, God's willing. But just remember, if you aspire to be a leader, don't expect it to be smooth. Don't expect everybody to love you. That's one of the things that I had to learn. I thought everybody loved me. I thought so until some years ago, when I was told that this particular person said every time they hear my voice on the radio, they change the station. Up to this day, I still can't understand it. But it made me realize not everybody loves you. Not everybody, some people just don't like the sound of your voice. Some people, you for whatever reason, as we say in Trinidad, the blood intake you. You can't go around feeling a how for that because people feel that way about you. As a leader, you ought to know who you are, and you got to be strong. You got to be able to bounce back. That's what durability is. You can take a glass and throw it on the ground, it will smash, but you take a plastic container and you throw it on the ground, and it will just bounce. That's durability. To be able to take criticism and take hardship and to take pounding and to survive it. That's durability. I'm going to end here tonight. Thank you so much for listening. God richly, richly bless you. I love you. And we'll be back tomorrow night at the same time. Let me hand over quickly to Minister Joshua to close off. Have a good night, people. God richly, richly bless you.